Transforming lives on a global scale. Welcome to Transforming Lives with Helen Henry, empowering you to walk in your truth, encouraging you to live your dream. Change your life by changing your thoughts. You can achieve what you want. Yes, you can do it. Be prepared to receive knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that will not only change your life, but advance the lives of others. So together, we can transform the world. And now, here is your host, Helen Henry.
Welcome to Transforming Lives. How are you guys doing? Well, it's us again. It's us again. Yes. We are here with part 2. I told you I was going to bring him back, and here he is. Part 2 of what is human transformation. And we are going to discuss further about it. Well, how are you doing, beautiful people? I hope you are enjoying this beautiful weather. Even though it's a bit hot, I am enjoying it. I am enjoying the beautiful weather that God has made. Yes. Well, I am your host, Helen Henry, and today on the hot seat again, we have Tarrent-Arthur Henry, and he is going to continue to share with us about what is human transformation. And Tarrant, it's all yours.
Thank you, Helen. I'm so excited to be here once again on this platform. I consider it an honor and a privilege that Helen allowed me to grace this wonderful program, Transforming Lives. And I hope that the information that I'm sharing here today will be a blessing and inspiration to each and every one of you. Human transformation, say what? Human transformation is an internal shift that brings us in alignment with our highest potential. And how many of you out there within the sound of my voice wants to reach their highest potential? Human transformation is at the heart of every major aspect of our lives. It affects how we see and relate to the world and how we understand our place in it. Now, many of us say, what are you talking about, Tarrant? And I say that the reason why you're saying that is because you have yet to reach your highest potential. You have yet to see and relate to the world and understand your place in the world. Many of us go through life and we live a copycat life. We copycat other people. A lot of times it even stems from our parents. Sometimes our parents instill in us as children a particular career or particular talent or trade that they want us to pursue. And a lot of times the children wind up doing anything trying to please their parents. But in the process of doing that, it affects how they relate to the world and how they understand their place in it. And that's a condition that's been prevalent in the world today. I shared a quote a little while back, and I said, anger is the new norm. And people says, well, Tarrant, what do you mean by anger is the new norm? The reason I say that is because everywhere I go, I see less smiling faces and more frowns. And maybe that was due to the pandemic, when people were told to social distance, which I really dislike that word. I more or less use the word physical distancing. And people were so shut up and away from things that they fell in love with the internet. The internet became their best friend. A lot of people were so isolated, they got caught up into the internet. And how many of you know that there's so many things out there on the internet today, including all kinds of different games and so on and so on. Now they have these reality vision and so forth that encourages people to not to be of this world, but to be into another world. And now that we see the cloud lifting over the pandemic and things kind of sort of getting back to normal depending on what state you live in, people are now going back into the world and they're seeing the world not the way we're supposed, not the way they used to see it, but they see it as a fantasy. So we see a lot of things happening in the world that we've never seen before happen. And we see a lot of things happening due to people being angry. I've never seen so many protests. People are protesting every little thing they can think of. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going back to normal. We're now in a new normal. And this new normal is going to take something to get adjusted to. That's why human transformation is so very important. Cognitive agility. Cognitive agility is the extent to which we adapt and shift our thought processes. When we do this, it leads to more positive outcomes. And this is something that I'm going to stay a little while on so we get this cognitive agility. I'm going to give you a few examples of cognitive agility once again. You go from feeling victimized to taking action. In other words, we see this cognitive agility. Let me see how I can explain this properly. Being distorted in society. We see people who are felt they were victimized now, they're now taking action. But the thing is, by them taking action, they're forgetting the fact that the action that they're taking only affects them. And they're not understanding the feelings of the other people who are not affected by it. And we see it when it comes to guns. Second Amendment tells us we have the right to bear arms. Depending on what state you live in, each state has their different gun laws. But then we go out and say, we see people using that same right and going out and taking away my right to life by going out, and you see it done through mass shootings. So we see how cognitive agility is being distorted because of the process of human transformation. You talked about the Maslow, the pyramid, we talked about that, how the absence of some things causes us to, we act in certain ways, cause our behavior to act in a certain type of way. Cognitive agility allows us to go from feeling resentful to being appreciative. Cognitive agility, one of the main operating principles of cognitive agility is love. And that is something that it seems to have gone out of society in this day and age. We have forgotten how to love. We have to learn to love people despite our differences. I don't agree with everybody, but I respect their opinions. I expect them to respect mine as well too. We can agree on certain things, then we have things that we disagree on, and something we may never agree on, but that doesn't have to make us want to take up and be enemies against each other. We can understand that, yes, we can still exist. It's just there's one particular area here which we can't exist in. Give an example of this. You may have a friend that you go bowling with, and you guys go bowling and you have a good time bowling. But then you may have a situation where that friend doesn't do another activity, like maybe you like to go shopping. And that friend says, well, I'm not really into the shopping that much. So you have another friend you have for shopping. So you don't break your friendship off because you enjoy the time you have with that person, that particular activity. That's why we have to learn to respect people for what they stay on their principles. A lot of times, nobody likes to be forced to do something. Nobody likes to have anything rammed down their throats. Everybody wants to be treated with respect, equally, fairly, and so forth. One of the most important things, like I said, we're studying here on cognitive agility for a little bit here. This is the extent to which we adapt, shift our thought processes, and the purpose of cognitive agility is that these thought processes bring on positive outcomes, not negativity, positive outcomes. And I think that when we go into a discussion, we have differences, and allow cognitive agility to come in, it will always bring out a positive outcome. It'll be a win-win for everybody. We have to concentrate on having win-wins for everybody. We're not going to agree on everything, but we can compromise, so it's a win-win for everybody. Because we can't control the situation, but we can control the story we tell about ourselves. We have to remember that too. And building cognitive agility is the difference between whether you thrive or whether you struggle. So it's very important. We go to the gym and we work out certain muscle groups in our bodies because we want to build a particular part of our body. The same thing we have to do with cognitive agility. We have to build it up. So very important to build up that cognitive agility. And human transformation provides a clear path for each individual to live up to their full potential and to live their lives with greater purpose, clarity. Let's stop on that a minute. Who does not want to live their life with greater purpose, clarity, action? Everyone wants to know what their purpose of life is. There's a lot of people go around here, walking around. You see them down the street doing that because they don't have a purpose in life. It's very important for us to find that purpose. And the earlier in life that we find that purpose, it allows us to become the person that God has called us to be. Clarity means you have a clear thoughts, clear thinking. You don't want to have a mind that has so many different opinions and you don't know whether you turn left or right, and you succumb to they said this, they said that. When you don't have clarity, you rely on they. And who are they anyway? Passion. We have to have greater passion for the things that we do. And not only that, but passion for other people too. We're a group collective. We're not here on this planet by ourselves. We need each other. As the song says, I love you. I need you to survive. So we need each other to survive on this planet. So very important. Moving from cognitive agility on to how do you get human transformation? We as human beings, God created us innately and uniquely, and he wired us for transformation. There's no other creature on this planet that is wired for transformation but mankind. Mankind has the ability to learn and adapt to nearly any situations. Our brains search for patterns, anticipate threats, and problem solve so we can thrive wherever we find ourselves. There's no situation that we as human beings can't get ourselves out of. I used to love the show MacGyver. No matter whatever situation MacGyver was in, MacGyver didn't have any weapons, any guns, or anything like that. Whatever he could put his hands on, he used that to accomplish a task that he needed to do.
Yes.
And that's due to human transformation. He knew how he was wired. He knew that this situation looked like an impossible situation to anyone else, but he knew that he was wired to be able to adapt to nearly any situation. Is the reason why mankind is able to shift so much during different crises that go on. This is why we have such a great advance in technology. And we have differences of opinion also, the reason why that. You don't see dogs or cats or other animals arguing about stuff because they're not wired that way. They either work together or they fight, one or the other. They either work together or fight, one or the other. But one important thing I want to stress here is that many of us don't use the full capacities of our brains. We use our brains like we were taught in school how to use our brains. And that's not operating at maximum capacity. When we embrace human transformation, it allows us to tap into the human capacities in our brain. There's things that are wired in us from our creator God that we don't even tap into. A lot of us don't understand is that we have an inability as human beings to tap into higher powers. Some of us choose to tap into a power of a loving God, and then all the people who tap into the powers of evil and darkness. So you have a choice of who you choose to tap into. So we have to understand that as part of our human transformation, part of our cognitive agility is to make sure that we tap into the right source. And that source is our creator God. And not tap into darkness and evil. We don't ever want to do that. There's too much of that going on in the world today. I want to touch basically now on 5 keys to human transformation. 5 keys. 5. We have 5 fingers. 5 keys. The first key is self-efficacy. That's the belief that you can do something well. Confidence in your ability to exert control over your motivation, behavior, and your social environment. That's something that we have got to get into ourselves. Confidence in our ability. We have control over our motivation, our behavior, and our social environment. This gets us from one place to another. This is a major driving force in our lives as human beings. Number 2, agency. That's a sense of control you feel in your life. A lot of us get stuck in number two, agency, because we don't feel we have control over our life. We feel the government has control over our life, a job has control over our life, another person has control over our life. But agency, we have to get that into our DNA. That's a sense of control you feel. We have to get control of your life. You can't allow your life to be controlled by outside forces.
Yes.
Number 3, positive example. Positive examples then where there are others around you that you can emulate. And when you have other people around you can emulate, you feel more capable of reaching your goals. All of us usually do that. When we're in a field, we say, I want to play guitar like Jimi Hendrix. You know, I want to sing like Aretha Franklin. I want to play basketball like Michael Jordan. Just a few examples. And and especially now in this age of technological age, we have so much things that we can tap into. So we can find positive examples for us, people we can emulate in just about anything we can ever think of. And what that does, that drives us, helps us to achieve our goals. We need examples, positive examples, not negative examples, but positive examples. 4, we need support of others. Why? We're social creatures. And the surest route to human transformation is through connection with others.
Yes.
People around us inspire us by showing us what we can become. We need that pat on the back, that attaboy. We need that in our life. We need the support of other people. So very important to have that support. And next, we need safety and security. Safety and security is so important. We need to know that we have protection, that we have security, we have order. That's why so many people want to come to this United States of America, because they feel that it's a safe place to live and there's security here. It's so important for us to have that. We have that. We don't have safety and security. That is a roadblock to human transformation. Definitely a roadblock for us. And we have to know those 5 things: self-efficacy, agency, 2, 3, positive example, 4, support of others, 5, safety and security. How many of you out there right now are in a place where you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring? But I got news for you today. I'm bringing you hope here. This is a message of hope, letting you know that, yes, it may seem hard, it may seem difficult, but when you have hope in Creator God, God of the universe, and like I stated earlier, He exists whether you believe it or not. Just like gravity, what goes up must come down. God exists. We can't change the laws of gravity. Right now, I'm breathing in the air, H2O, which allows my body to function. There's also other things in the air which my body filters out, like a kill me. But I can't see it. But I know that it's there. The rain comes, the sun comes up, the sun goes down. Whether I believe it or not, the sun is going to go up, it's going to go down. Day and night is going to come and go. I can't change that. I can't transcend it. I can't stop it. So when we begin to start to formulate and look at human transformation, we have to understand that that's what we can do as human beings. But then there's a greater transformation. And that transformation comes when we come into agreement with the fact that we have a higher power, whose name is God, who transcends everything on this planet, created everything, put everything into existence. Someone once asked me, says, well, then who created God? I says, God.
Yes.
So I always let people know there's people that I speak to, and they don't believe it. I don't believe in God. I don't go that route. I says, that's fine. I says, but God believes in you. And God is here whether you believe it or not. You see so many things happening now. When you turn on your TV, you see things happening. And you say, man cannot stop it. Man cannot stop COVID. COVID keeps reproducing and different variants are coming out as fast as they think they found a cure for the next variant. We can't control the weather conditions. We can't, there's fire that's coming up out of nowhere. War is being fought. And there's not one man that can stop it. There's not one man that can say, stop. There's not one man that can say, go away. But God. So the main purpose of human transformation, to get to where you need to be after you have gone up that ladder with your physiological needs, your safety needs, your social, your belonging needs, your esteem needs, your cognitive needs, your aesthetic needs, your self-actualization needs, which is the highest thing we can get. Achieving our individual potential, that's the highest thing we can get. But we won't get satisfaction until we have self-transcendence. We reach that stage where we realize that, hey, and it begin to acknowledge God. I couldn't do this all by myself.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
But God. And in the process of that, we begin to share all the love we have inside of us that came from our God of love, and begin to use it to help other people, to provide service for others, to not think that we are all by ourselves, but begin to lift our brothers and sisters up and pick them up by the hand and help them climb the same ladder we climbed.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's the key.
That's the key.
To human transformation.
I like what you said. That meditative state with God. It all comes from God. He is the one that puts everything together. And when you in that state of meditation with God, and you know he will take you places that you never thought. He will share with you so many things that you didn't know about. So I like the 5 keys that you outlined in your speech. That is essential to human transformation. So the support of others, I love that. Sometimes we do need that support, whether we we don't want it or not. We can't do it all by ourselves. So we do need that support, the connecting with others. People around us inspire us by showing us what we can become. I love that. And we have to be around positive-minded people in order to achieve the goals. And in order, I like that, when there are others around you to emulate, you feel more capable of reaching your goals. I love that. I love that. And you do feel a sense of security, a sense of freedom, a sense of peace, a sense of love. And you said it all. It's about love. and we don't demonstrate it all the time because we are caught up in ourselves, how we feel, our emotions, our feelings, our rejection, hurt. So we don't express the love that's needed. So in order to get more in tune with the infinite, you have to meditate on his word. He will show you these steps. He will show you what to do. And I love this topic. It's a bit deep, but you have to understand where the Holy Spirit is taking you. So Tarrant, explain to us a little about the safety and security, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Explain a little more about that.
Well, safety and security is the first rung of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And to sum that up, it says that if we don't have stable support for our basic needs, people will not aspire to become the best person they could be. Because what happens is that when you feel threatened, when you don't have safe security, you feel threatened, your creativity and your well-being and your relationship, they suffer. There are many people out here that are in situations where they may be going through a state of homelessness, or some people may have gone through even domestic violence, or something tragic happened to them, and they don't feel a safety and security. And we find ourselves becoming withdrawn from society. And they don't even want to, they can't, the way that they used to function, they don't function that way anymore. They become dysfunctional. And all these things because they feel threatened. Everything suffers, the creativity, being, all these things begin to suffer because these are basic human needs, safety and security. When you have a child, and you take the child to play, you know, the child may be toddler, 1, 2, 3 years old, even a little older than that. What do they do when they face a situation they can't handle? They look for their mother or their father. They run to them. They run to them and they grab a hold of them for safety. Anytime they feel any kind of fear or something like that. Well, imagine a grown person, a person that's grown and mature, being faced with the same challenges like a 1 or 2 year old, and they have nobody to run to. That's why it's so important for safety and security. Because even as an adult, we need to have that. It's very important to know that going through a rough day, you can pick up the phone and call somebody, and they'll be empathetic toward what you're going through. But imagine a person that doesn't have that outlet.
Yes.
What they must be going through.
Yes.
They're becoming very withdrawn. So that's one of the very first keys. In order for us to get to be productive in life, we need to know that we have safety and secure.
I love that.
Achieve. We're not going to get to where we're not going to reach our full potential. That's the first step to reaching your full potential. So important.
Yes.
So important. To be in a safe place. To know you're safe. To know when you go in, you can lock your door, you're safe. You don't have to worry about somebody coming in, you're victim of domestic violence, and so person coming in and harming you or hurting you. You know you can open that door up, and you know that you walk inside, and the first thing you experience is love. Love. But I also want another secret there. A lot of people don't understand that if you happen to be going through a situation like I just mentioned, homelessness, domestic violence, or somewhere we don't feel safety and secure. Mm-hmm. You have a loving Father in heaven.
Yes.
All out there. They say, Lord, I need you. Father, wrap me in your loving arms. Father, sometimes we just need that. So anybody that's you're not alone. You're not alone. There's situations in my life where I thought I was alone.
Yes.
All I had to do was call on the name of the Lord, and His presence is always there with me.
Yes.
Wiped every tear, took away all my pain, all my sorrow. And since God, no respecter of persons, if He did it for me, He'll do it for Helen.
Amen.
Do it for you.
Yes, He sure can. Yes. And I want to add, yes, you said it, that some of us go through that lonely period, being alone, have no one to talk to, have no one to reach out to. It's a hurtful feeling. It's a sad feeling, you know. I believe most of us in life went through that stage where we wanted to reach out to someone, but that person was not there or will not accept you, or for their own purposes, they will not reach out. That's okay. I always say that's okay. But once you get to know the Holy Spirit, God, and you know that He will hear you, you can always feel that secure, that secure feeling that He will wrap your arms around you and said, child, I'm dear. In your loneliness, you can come to me. And that's what I love. That's what I love about Him. That we don't have to feel lonely all the time. We know where we can go for support, for that loving feeling. It's all Jesus. And I'm so glad that you touched on a lot of these steps, these keys that we all need to learn. And before we leave, do you have anything else to address to the people?
Well, I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that this has been something that has been with me for a long time, human transformation. And I just felt a burden that I need to share this message out, because I know there's many people out here suffering right now, going through a whole lot of things. And like I mentioned before, I want to know there's hope for them.
Yes.
They can change their life. They can make that human transformation, because we're the only ones that can do that. That's why it's a tower of human transformation, because no other creature can do this except for us as humans. You could have messed up big time,
yes,
my brother, my sister. But guess what? There's still hope for you.
There's still hope.
Follow these steps that are outlined for you, and you can get to that place that you've always tried to be. We fall down, but we get up. And no matter how many times you fell, guess what? God is always there to give you a helping hand.
Yes, yes.
That's got to be your focus. Sometimes your focus is nobody believes in you, but guess what? God never gave up on you.
I love that. Yes.
I want to end with that.
Yes.
God not giving up on you.
Did not give up on us. Yes, I love that. And on that note, we will end our live recording. But before I leave, I want to give a shout out, a shout out to Aliens Tabernacle at Clarendon Road Church in Brooklyn. I am honored to be giving the word on Saturday, July 23rd at the Women's Conference, Women's Day Conference. And I'm looking forward to that. And the information will be shared in the description section of this YouTube broadcast. So if you know someone or would like, you personally would like to attend, feel free to come out and fellowship with the women of Alliance Tabernacle at Clarendon Road. You'll be blessed. And I am honored to give the word. So on that note, I thank you all for joining us and being here, and just to hear the message that was put out today by Tarrent-Arthur Henry. Tarrent, we thank you for explaining in details what human transformation is all about.
It's been my pleasure.
And we thank you for watching and listening. Be blessed.
Thank you for joining Transforming Lives. You can visit us at www.helench.org. You can also visit our organizational website at www.intlrun.org or email Helen Henry at helenjc08@yahoo.com.